Are we live? We are live. Yay, we are. Happy 2020 to everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2020. Happy January. Happy new month. Happy new year. Happy new grace. Happy new love. Happy new life. Today is January the 2nd. You guys know what it is. Y'all know what I'm coming on here for, so don't act brand new. I want to know what your monthly goals are. It's a new year. Yes, it is. So if you want to bring out some new year provisions, resolutions. I don't hate when people decide to do New Year's resolutions. I'm never a hater because if it takes a new year for somebody to try something new, who am I to hate on that? I don't ever knock anybody's resolutions. Do what is necessary for you. Do what needs to be done for you. And if it takes January 1 for you to start something, who cares? Don't let anybody make you feel bad for that. Some people talk all that crap and they have still yet to start on anything. So if it takes a new year for you to start some resolutions or resolve or try something different or begin to set goals or finish up other goals, I support you. I absolutely support you. I'm never one to not support people like that. So don't ever let anybody discourage you. This could be your first time making goals, and this may be the only time that you decide to make goals. Whatever you do, just believe in yourself and go through the proper adjustments to make that goal happen. So that's the main thing. So happy new year. And it's January 2nd. So of course I get on here every month and I want to know what everybody's goals are. I'm excited. I don't know who doesn't get excited on a new year. It's just new. I mean, who doesn't like a new car? Who doesn't like a new shirt? Who doesn't like a new pair of shoes? Who doesn't like a new pen? Me. Oh, well, you guys may not trip out over new pens. I absolutely trip out over new pens because I'm a writer. But it's a new year. So the momentum is high, and it should be high because everybody gets excited over new stuff. So I'm not one to judge. If this is the moment that you want to set some goals and decide to get out on project, hey girl, I'm all for it. You guys, I support you. I support you very much so. So I'm on here. It's the beginning of the month. I want to know what your monthly goals are. I'm excited about 2020. I get excited every year, but this year it's already taken off to an interesting start. I'll use the word interesting, and we just pushed through. If you have put a lot of shadow work in the last couple of years, I know 2019, if you listen to my podcast, I talk about that. I also made a couple of posts about 2019 and just all the work that I put into myself. A lot of people don't know, but in 2015, my children lost their dad. It was like a tragedy, like a series of unfortunate events that happened in 2015. And so that's why I compared 2019 to 2015. If you listen to my podcast, if you have not listened to my podcast, we are on the first 1-year anniversary. Yesterday was a 1-year anniversary of Life Happens with Coach E. Hey, Che. So if you guys have not gotten on the podcast, Anchor FM Life Happens with Coach E, y'all are slipping. So get on there because we have been running 1 year strong. That's a really, really exciting thing, especially when you start endeavors and everybody doesn't always complete them. And so I'm very, very grateful. I'm so excited and elated the fact that it's been going on for a whole year. And here we are coming in full circle to round 2 of Life Happens with Coach E on the podcast. So if you haven't, I talked about that on the podcast, just coming full circle with things and just woo, what a year. So I put in a lot of work and I'm still putting in a lot of work. But 2015 was very tragic. A lot of tragic things happened. I can't talk. But it was a lot of transition. My 3 oldest lost their dad. My daughter graduated and went to the Army a month afterwards. I was in this I thought was a good relationship, and it ended really, really bad because the guy ended up going to jail over some crazy stuff. That'll be in the book. I'm not going to tell all that. That'll be in the book. You have to get love letters too to talk about that kind of craziness. But anyway, I transitioned from an apartment into a house. I transitioned from the medical field into serving the community as a case manager and life coach. A lot of stuff went on. I went through so much warfare in 2015. And so I had nothing that intense to compare 2019 to, except for 2015. And so I did. And if you know me and you have known me all these years or gone to church with me or just know my family and some of the private assassinations and the things that we've conquered on the back end of it, you would absolutely know how intense 2019 was. But yet, here we are. We are in 2020. And I want to know what your goals are. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it this year. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I usually ask you what your goals are at the beginning of every month. So for 2020, I'm not going to ask goals anymore. I want to know what you're manifesting. Let's change our wording. Happy New Year, Sharika. I love you, sis. So instead of me asking every month, what are your goals for the month? I'm going to say, what is your manifestation for this month? What are you manifesting this month? What are you believing God for this month? What are you trying to align yourself with purpose and do this month and accomplish it? That's what I'm changing it to. So we're going to change the game a little bit. I'm not saying goals anymore. I want to know what you're manifesting. And if you haven't manifested anything yet, I want to know what you desire to manifest, what you are about to manifest, so that I can come into agreement with you. Let's change the wording up, okay? Let's do something different. I want to know what you're manifesting. I know for me, manifestations have been, it's been crazy. It's been really, really crazy, but it's been good crazy. I can honestly say I put in the work. Like, I've been putting in some work, y'all. I mean, on every area of my end. I've never met, well, I know a couple of people in my circle that have like literally opened their heart and opened their lives like an open book and said, I'm going to let God address every area in my life. I'm going to open my heart. I'm going to open my pocketbook. I'm going to open my budgeting. Hey, people, I'm going to open up my private life. I'm going to open up my mind. I'm going to challenge my mind, my paradigm, where I am level, education wise, what I feel like I've evolved in. I'm going to open it all up and lay it on the table. And that is actually what I have been doing. And so to transition into 2020, I'm just like, whatever you want me to deal with, God, I want to deal with it. If you want me to deal with, past issues that I put under the rug, then I'm going to do it. If you wanted me to deal with how I respond and react to things, I'm going to do it. If you want me to deal with things that I developed along the year as a survival tactic, then I'm going to do it, because I don't want to continue to operate in survival mode. I'm thriving this year. So that's my manifestation. I'm manifesting the life of thriving and not surviving as a single mom. I'm not going to keep surviving and just doing all those things. I'm thriving. I'm learning how, and I'm manifesting a life that does not cause chaos. And it doesn't operate. I no longer am going to operate in crisis. And that's just it. I haven't done it anymore. I'm not going to operate in crisis anymore. I refuse to operate in crisis. I've had crisis for so many years. I moved here in 2011, and it was just all hell broke loose. And so I've been really, really paving the way. I've been travailing, and I've been in the trenches, and I've been surviving. I've been barely making it. And so this year I said, enough is enough. I don't care if I have to redo my finances. I don't care if I have to learn a new technique in budgeting. I've had to learn to eat better. I was just talking to my daughter yesterday about, the vegan diet that I've done and the transition from not eating as much meat, drinking more water, staying away from caffeine, drinking herbal teas, meditating. I think I meditated for 2 hours last night before I went to bed. That stuff is real. And so that's just the transition that I'm making. So this is just my stuff. I'm just kind of talking because it's Facebook Live, just to get some interacting with you guys and just let you guys know how excited I am about the new year. I'm excited about Love Letters becoming a series. I know I've been talking about Love Letters 2, and everybody's like, when's the other book coming? When's the other book? It's going to be a series. It's not just a book. We popping them babies out of there, and it's just going to be a couple of series. It's going to be a series of a couple of books that talk about things that I've done, things that I've evolved from, things that I've been through, my obsession with trauma relationally, just different type of behaviors that I've gone through and things that I've healed from, and talk about in more depth me as a life coach, some of the ways that I had to learn that. A lot of people get really uncomfortable because I talk about the most transparent things. And I want to tell you, the first year I started life coaching, It was 2014. A lot of people don't know that. So I've been life coaching since 2014. The first time I had clients and the first time I tried to go in there, present well and let them know, hey, and be encouraging and coach their situation and try and, create some strategies for them, I was shut down. They weren't feeling me. They were not feeling me. They was looking at me like, lady, why are you talking to me? So this is a true story. I continued to go back. I went back a couple of times. Rashonda's not on here, but she will vouch for it because she will tell you what the time I had. And so I kept saying, I don't know. They ain't feeling me. And she was like, no, I just believe that, that you're good. This is good for you. I'm like, well, I'll coach him. I'll try. No, I take that back. My first life coaching experience was someone else, but corporately it was at Shared Housing. And so I had these clients every Tuesday and, they had some stuff going on and I'm literally like, okay, let me tell you this and that. I went probably like 3 or 4 times. By the 4th time I went back, I was discouraged. I went to God and I pleaded to God and I was like, look, I know you said you want me to do this. However, this is probably not going to happen too good because these ladies ain't feeling me. And he said, I need you to tell the truth. I just need you to tell your story. And I was like, I'm telling him my story. I told him I came from Oklahoma and this is where I was. And I'm just going on and on and on. He said, no, tell your story. Tell what happened to you. Talk about everything. And so I was like, okay, so 5 is grace. Okay. Just so y'all didn't know, number 5 represents grace. So the 5th time I went in there, it had to be about the 5th time. I don't want to be inaccurate with the information. Like I said, Rashonda's not on here, so she can't vouch for it. But literally the 5th time I went in there, I sit down with her and I was just finally like, look, you gonna make it. Okay. I'm telling you. She looked at me. She's like, how you know? I was like, let me tell you how I know you're going to make it. Because I was homeless. I had to go to a transitional shelter. Me and my kids, slept. Hey, how you doing? I said, me and my kids slept in my SUV for weeks. We ate tacos. They had to change at the laundromat. We had to wash our clothes at the laundromat. My daughter had to change at McDonald's. I know you're going to make it. And she just her whole demeanor changed. Her whole demeanor shifted. And that was probably one of the most powerful coaching sessions I had ever had. One of my first real intense ones, but also one of my most powerful ones. I say all that to magnify the fact that I am very transparent because it's effective. People want to be relatable. That's good that, you have arrived and you're doing so well and you're thriving, but people want to know how your story fits with theirs, how it is in relation to what they may be going through. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's homeless. I'm not saying that. In that particular situation, she was at a transitional shelter and nothing I was saying was working for her. And it was like a brick wall. I could not reach her. And so I had to meet her where she was. And the only way I could meet her where she was to be completely honest about where I had been and where I had come from. And where I had been was homeless and living in a car and going through a transitional program and my kids being housed and maintaining self-sufficiency and learning how to budget and somebody getting in my business about my finances and how to budget and how to save and how to spend money and what bills to pay off. And the minute I began to really open up to her, I was real. I was really real. At the end of it, she said, you really don't look like you went through all that. I said, I know. And it's funny because that became my testimony. It's like, I know I don't look like what I've been through. And I wasn't saying it because it was a cliche, because when I began to tell people what I had gone through, what I've been through, from childhood trauma to being homeless, to being divorced, being, just everything, I don't have to go through it. Everything that I have been through and come out of, it changed the game. People are relatable. People can relate to what you've been through. They know that you've experienced heartache. They know I've experienced heartbreaks. They know that I've been cheated on, lied on, talked about, abused. They know that I've gone through so many hardships and I've overcome. And that's what the Bible says. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb. So obviously it's going to be through Jesus Christ and a relationship with God, but by our testimony, the word of our testimony. And so that's why I'm transparent. I know my family, I love my family because they love me, but they know I'm going to talk about it. I am the one family member that talks about so many things. I'm not afraid to talk about it. Sometimes I can get really heavy for my brother and he just don't be feeling it. I mean, my brother be like, I don't want to talk about that right now. It's too heavy. And it's not that I want to be a butthole or anything. It's just, I believe in being relatable. You know, I can't meet any client where they are. I can't even relate to you unless I meet you where you are. And where you are may not be healed yet. You may be still healing. You may not have even acknowledged the fact that you need to be healed or that there's an issue at hand. And so I have to learn to meet people where they are. If we could do that with people, we will be so much further along. Didn't want to get off track, but I just felt like I was led to share that with you guys. But so that's why I'm transparent. That's why I talk about it. That's why I get on here every month and I talk about things that are uncomfortable just to let people know that they have a space. And if you don't have a platform anywhere else to talk about things and set goals and talk about healing and talk about being restored and talk about relationships, my platform is definitely for that. It could be for you and it could be not. So far, I have a great following and people are honored to be able to have the freedom and the space to talk about some of the things that are really uncomfortable because I talk about some of the things that are really uncomfortable. And so back to January, back to the beginning. I want to know, you guys know I do this all the time. That was, I ask what your goals are, but this year we're doing manifestations. So I've asked what your manifestations are. And then I always kind of just put some type of encouragement in there. And so those are my words. Don't be ashamed to share your story. Don't be ashamed to be transparent. People relate to what's real. They don't relate to, you putting yourself and exalting yourself. They relate to what's real. And I've been in ministry a long time, enough to know that, the scriptures and you can articulate yourself well and you can be the best preacher, prophesy, you can lay hands real good, you can sing real good, you can shout real good, you can do all these good things. But people want to relate and connect to something that's real. And I'm authentic about everything that I present. And if I'm not, then I'll admit that. But I never want to lead people on to thinking that I'm something that I'm not. I hurt, I bleed, I go through things just like people, but I overcome. And that's my message, is to overcome and not stay stuck, but letting you know that you have the power within you and there's greatness within you. You can do absolutely anything that you put your mind to. Now, don't compromise that for anybody. Don't compromise your power. Don't compromise your peace. Don't compromise who you are. Don't compromise where you're going for the sake of having somebody around. Compromise is not an option here. So go forth, be great. Put down what your manifestations are on the screen here, up in the comments, or on the next page so that I can agree with you. This is a definite year to manifest things. We're going to change our wording. We don't want to just make goals. I want to know what you're manifesting this year. Change your wording. I want to know. I don't want to know what your goals are. I don't want to know what you're trying to do. I don't want to know what you're struggling through. I want to know what you're going to manifest. What are you manifesting for January? This is January 2nd. If you have not, go to my podcast, Life Happens with Coach E. It's on Anchor FM. You can hear it on every listening forum. So Spotify, is it iPod, iPad, iTunes, whatever you call it, some iPod podcast. I don't even know all the sites that it is. I always look once I see it, but you can always go to Anchor FM, look for Life Happens with Coach E. I'm on there. My face is on there. It's been a year. So we're about to turn it up a notch. We're going to do some fun and exciting things. I'm going to have guest speakers. So if you guys feel that you have a unique story and you want to share it with me, message me. I don't mind. Let's share your story. Let's talk about your journey. This is not just my journey. Life happens for everybody, not just for Coach E. So let's talk about it. If you have a unique story, you want to share it with me, you want to be interviewed, you want to talk about something that you've come through, out of, or going through, or however it may be, this is the platform to share it. So I'll be more than happy to do that for you. So go on Anchor FM, click on there. If you not have been on my website, it's www.eunicejones.squarespace.com. On YouTube, I'm Eunice Jones, author / speaker / coach. On YouTube, on Snapchat, Uni Jones. On Instagram, author Eunice. On Twitter, Jones_Eunice. All the hooks, y'all know what it is. On Facebook, here I am, here you are. So subscribe, link to me. If you need a life coach, destiny coach, healing coach, I am accepting new clients. Go to my Author Eunice Jones page and book an appointment. because you have the ability to do that. Yes, David, manifest in ministry. You are manifesting it. You're going to take it to another level. You're going to go to new heights. This is a time for you to be exposed. This is your year of exposure. So I'm excited for you. I agree with you. Y'all be blessed, love, light, grace, and peace. Let's manifest it, baby. I'll holla.